Here we are on Cricbuzz Comm Box. There are differences and there are similarities with the first game that was played at the same venue just 3 days ago. Different captain for England, same result of the toss. Very similar score as far as Team India are concerned. But the one factor we're going to discuss is the difference in the number of wickets that the team has lost. There were 64 without loss after 15 overs. Lost a wicket, first ball of the 16th. Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan were going great guns on that day. On this occasion, both Sharma and the near centurion Shikhar Dhawan are gone 66 for 2 after 15. And the stats suggest that when India loses 2 wickets in the first 10 overs of an ODI, they tend more often than not to lose a game. Michael Vaughan, how critical is that going to be for England's chances?
Well, first and foremost, I don't take any notice of stats outside of this game because it can't impact the game that we're playing in today. From what I see, England have bowled okay. I think they've bowled quite nicely. I think there's been a bit of swing. Reece Topley for a couple of overs was excellent. Reece has now bowled 4 overs, 1 for 21. I worry about when he comes back, in having spent an hour or so in the field. When you haven't played any cricket, your second and third spells are the most important because you're just not used to being out there. No spin to date, so it'll be, how Moeen Ali, Adil Rashid bowl. It almost seems to me like India wait for the spinners. That's what they did the other day. They wait and then they start trying to hit the boundaries. The pitch is decent. India will still get a half decent score. Someone's going to get some. I just feel that Virat started in such a fashion that there's that 100. I don't know how many innings it is now. 40, how many? That he's not had that international century.
42.
42. Well, he looked in the mood the other day and he gave it away with that clip to mid-wicket off Mark Wood. I feel that he just looks like he's got those eyes on to potentially get that 100 that he's been waiting for. And KL Rahul, he's in fine form. Interestingly, that they didn't keep KL at number 5 and they've moved Rihad Pant, the left-hander, to number 5. I think that's a good move because KL Rahul played so well the other day. Get him in early. He's in fine form. He's in fine mind. He played so well on this ground. What I'm interested in actually further down the line, I've just been talking back home, is David Malan, will he bat at 4 or will he bat 3? Apparently they promised Ben Stokes that he'll bat 3. So these batting orders, they get complicated to kind of work out. You're never quite sure who's going to go out there and do what at what time. But it's on the balance, Gautam. I don't think we can say either side is on top at this stage. It's in the balance.
Yeah, but certainly, I fully see where Michael Vaughan's coming from in terms of stats in isolation. But history has certainly suggested India need to keep those wickets intact. But with Virat Kohli, KL Rahul, Pant to come and the Pandya family to come, it should make for an interesting finish. But talking about England's bowling, I think you made an interesting point about Reece Topley's second and third spells. But the bounce he was generating, we haven't seen that probably in the series so far.
Yeah, he is a good bowler. He's just been so unfortunate with injuries. I can remember a few years ago when he came onto the scene, he just looked like an international cricketer. And then he had so many injuries. The fact that England have brought him straight back in as soon as he was fit tells you what the England management think of Reece Topley. I think they said on commentary, I don't know, we've got different commentary over here to what you have in India, but Nathan Bracken from Australia, when he came into the Aussie ODI side, quite tall, got a bit of bounce. Reece Topley is quite similar. He's a good boy. Just fingers crossed that he can stay fit for a prolonged period. We can see the best of him because you generally don't get an idea when someone comes in and plays a game and then he goes away, plays a few county games, then comes back. You want to see a 10 to 15 game period that you can actually assess how good Reece Topley really is.
Yeah, I can tell you one of the discussions I eavesdropped on was the steepling bounce, and the person who was on commentary was Sunil Gavaskar, and they were asking him about facing all the West Indian quicks back in the day without the helmet, just the skull cap. And he said, you can talk about all the pace you want, but that bounce can be very disconcerting. And with Topley's height, that's what I think had a couple of the batsmen thinking.
Yeah, there's two ways of looking at it. Many players would look at the extra bounce and think that that's difficult. I personally didn't like bowlers that skidded on because I feel that if they skid onto you, LBW bowled more into the game. When it gets that bit of extra bounce like Reece Topley, yes, you can get hurt. Yes, you can get one that hits the slice of the bat. But I always feel it was harder for the taller bowlers to get your LBW or ball because they had to really pitch it that far close to you. So, different kind of skill sets, trouble different players. But as a tall batsman myself, I used to enjoy the steeper bounce. I hated those. Bhuvan Kumar would have me on toast. Someone that pitches it up, wobbles it either way. He'd have me, within 2 or 3 balls every time. I'm pretty sure about that.
Well, there's an interesting way to look at things. Batsman of Michael Vaughan's caliber has paid Bhuvi a huge compliment there. But just to wrap up, you reckon that, talking about having on toast, you reckon that both Virat Kohli and KL Rahul are looking at Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid on toast?
Well, they look like some people, when they eat their main course, they like to eat their favourite piece of the meat or the vegetables or potato first. My daughter, who's 10, she likes to save her best till last, and it looks to me like these players are saving the spinners till last. They're saving their favourite parts till the end. England will have to turn to the spinners shortly, and you feel then Virat and KL Rahul will start to strike the boundaries.
Yeah, so there you go. We've got the little food analogy. We've had the appetizers. We're into the main course. And it looks like for the moment, Virat Kohli and KL Rahul are starting to tuck in. And by the time his nemesis, Adil Rashid, comes on, I think he should be already so full that he's ready to take him on. We'll see you on the 35th over to see how this meal is going. Thank you, Michael Vaughan. Join us again for Cricbuzz Comm Box. Yummy.